Grooverelly in the building.
My love's like a black hole sun, so bright when it burns, so dark when it's done. So hard to relate to one when I find myself tripping off that blunt.
All right, what's going on, guys? It's the Guru with Grooverelly, and today I'm with Patrick CC, known YouTuber, water aficionado, and most recently he's put together a project with, 27 artists on it?
I think it's 29.
29 artists on it, and it's called Launch Sequence. So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
For sure, man. Thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely. So first off, let's just get into what inspired you to make this project and start putting it together.
I think that I really just I've always kind of like flirted with the idea in my head, but I really just tweeted it on a random day. And I was like, yo, I want to put together this album, DJ Khaled style, fucking, these are the artists that I would love to have on it. And basically just put a bunch of artists out there. And then they started reaching out to me and they were like, yo, like, send me a beat, or like, let's do it. Let's figure it out. And then a bunch of producers started hitting me up as well. And they were like, yo, like, we'll send you beats. What's the email? So, I started flipping through the email and I was like, damn, there's actually some pretty good beats in here. And I just on a whim, like tossed it to some of the artists. And then just like pretty quickly, we got a couple of songs made. And I was like, damn, this is really fire. Like, I didn't even have to say that much and people already believed in it. And like the people that follow me believed in it and the artists believed in it. And they saw the vision without even me having to explain it. And really once I got the song Black Hole Sun, which is the single, which was probably only a week or two after I made that tweet. Like once I heard that one, I was like, oh no, we gotta finish this. Like we have to finish this whole album because this project or this song is so damn good. And that was just the initial, it was like literally I was bored on a Friday and I tweeted that and it was like, all right, now we're doing it.
Right. It went so well right from the start that it kind of carried itself. No, it's awesome. Yeah, I actually remember when you were tweeting that out and just tweeting about starting it and how good of like the reception was from your audience. So as far as like the artists that went on there, it kind of happened with people that were following you and supported you, or were you like very selective with who you put on which song? Because there's some songs that I see you only have one artist on there, and then others, you kind of put 2 to 3 artists on the same track.
In the beginning, I was really just sending out stuff, seeing what I could get back from people. And then as I was getting a couple of the opens, as I was getting people sending me verses back, that's when I started to like do the real executive producer grind where I was like, all right, I could envision this artist on there. Let me send them this. And then, just slowly songs were starting to get built that way. As far as the solo tracks, a lot of them, or I guess, I don't even know, I guess there's 3 or 4, but the solo tracks are mostly just because we couldn't get somebody on the verse that we really, well, me and the other artists like that we really liked, we couldn't get somebody to put a verse that I felt complemented the track. So we just put it out as like a solo track. And I initially didn't want any solo tracks. I wanted every song to have at least 2 artists, but yeah, some of them I just couldn't let go. I liked them a lot and I needed the solo artist on there.
Right. Kind of just, so those were ones that were more just cut short because, like you said, you couldn't really get any other artists on them that completed the sound to where you wanted it. So just throw it on there with the one artist. Okay.
For sure.
Do you have a favorite song off the album?
I don't have a favorite song because I really like a lot of them, honestly. I think my favorite verse is Treso's verse on Russian, which is track 4. Okay. Something about that verse is just like really dope. He also shouts me out in the verse, but it's not in like a cringy way.
Right.
Normally I don't like when people shout me out in songs, but he did it in a really good way. And yeah, that's definitely my favorite verse, but like I couldn't pick a favorite song.
Yeah, I mean, this whole project's your baby, so it kind of makes sense that it would be tough to do that.
Yeah.
Standout ones to me were, obviously Black Hole Sun. I saw you got Skywater on there, which is crazy. I'm a big fan of Skywater, big fan of Surf. Uh, a lot of these artists that you got on here, crazy fire. What was the talk about the process of like being able to get the artists? And then I remember I spoke to you about, the process of you having to clear the songs and get everything lined up. So it's not like, people don't think this is as easy as just hit up the artist, say, hey, you want to get on the track, and it's done. There's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more that goes into it as far as like releasing it. But in the beginning, it really was just as easy as like, hey, I have this idea. What do you think? And people were like, all right, send me something. So in the beginning, it was really easy. And like I was so just shocked at how many people were willing to do it and willing to help me out and believed in me and believed in this. Like I really hit up so many people, and almost all of them were just like, yeah, send me something, let's see what happens. And you know I didn't think that I think that the reason why they did it is because I've sort of established relationships with them. Like a lot of the people I'm friends with, or I know them not like on a super personal level, but more than just like, hey, I like your music. Like we've chatted before. Maybe I've talked to them on the phone. So if I, hit them up, they see it as like, oh, okay, this is a guy that I respect as like a creator, but I also, I know him a little bit and I fuck with him. So he's kind of like a friend. So like getting people to do it was smooth because of those reasons. As far as like clearing the songs and really, taking it to the next level where we have to like get it released, that's when I hired a lawyer and got contracts and came up with a deal, and then gave the contracts to the artists and talked it out with them. And, some of them signed it real quick. Some of them took a little longer. Some of them sent it to their lawyers, just typical like music industry shit after that.
Yeah. That's when the behind the scenes work comes into play.
Right. And that stuff is, first of all, it's really important. And a lot of like people in the underground or whatever don't do that type of stuff, because when you're an aspiring artist, or when you're just kind of getting off the ground, you don't really look at it as like the business. You're like, oh, we're just creating, we're making music, we're doing what we do. And then if you start bringing contracts into it, people start to get a little weird, and they think like that there's this deeper, like issue or whatever, right?
The word contract kind of carries like a bad stigma with it.
Exactly, but it's totally normal and necessary, 100% necessary in the music industry. And the reason why I wanted to do it is because I see so much potential in every single artist on this project. I have no doubt that most of them will eventually sign a major record deal. And at that point, if I don't have protection for the album, the majors could, own the song, or, try to get the song deleted. And, I can't face them. I don't have the money or the legal team to be able to protect me. But since you have the contracts, you're able to, protect yourself.
A lot of precautionary measures for not dealing with shit in the long run.
And for them, because like if they didn't sign the contract, then there's nothing that says that I have to pay them either. So I could have like ran off with all the money, and they wouldn't even know. But now the contract's there, they're getting paid. I have to pay every single person. Like that's my responsibility. So it's important. And it's important for upcoming artists too. I've seen a lot of like people get screwed over because they didn't have these things in place.
Just keeps it clean and clear. Make sure nobody gets taken advantage of or anything.
For sure.
Now, was there anybody like specific that you really wanted on the project that you weren't able to get on there?
Yeah, definitely. There's tons of artists that I wanted to get on that didn't. I don't even know how many people I asked, but I asked a lot. And there were people that reached out to me that I didn't even ask. I don't really want to say them because like I don't want to make it look like it's any deeper than it is. Like some people just they didn't like any of the beats, or they didn't, you know, they just didn't connect with the other artist that was on the verse, or there's a million reasons why somebody won't jump on a song. And it's funny because like a lot of people were messaging me and were like, "Oh, I thought you were friends with this artist. Why aren't they on it?" And they kind of made it seem like it was something deeper than it actually was. Like sometimes it's not personal. Like people just like, "I don't really like what you sent me." And then
It's
I'm
just
like,
business.
even it's not, yeah, it could be just business, it could just be art. Like they don't artistically, align with whatever I sent them,
Right.
and that's fine. Like that doesn't, I didn't take it personally. Or some people needed money, they needed payment for like a feature, and I understand that, I get that, but that's just not the vision that I was going for this project.
Right.
So I wanted it to be like a community thing, and then we all split you know, the bag
Royalties.
later.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, there's tons of artists that I would love to have got on there, and hopefully my goal, because the way I looked at it is I was honestly more in favor of the people that were saying like, I don't know about that, because some artists stream really well that are on here. Like they do crazy good streams, and I had never released anything. So they're low key taking a risk by, putting one of their verses or whatever on my project.
Right.
And that verse or that hook or whatever they did, they could have used that for their own shit and maybe get more streams on their own pages. So, I understood that. So I'm grateful that they were all willing to take the risk and to believe in me, because, it could have it could still flop. Like it could stop at where it's at and nobody ever listens to it again. And, it's possible. So I'm grateful for all of the people that wanted to do it. And hopefully it does really well. So all those people that, were maybe unsure, the next time around, they'll be like, all right, we could do it. I saw the first one. It was successful. I'll jump on your next one or whatever.
It's doing really well for your first release right now. I mean, top Black Hole Sun sitting at 5,000 first day, right? It's only been one day, yes. And then you got like 3,000, 2,000 coming up on the other songs. I mean, it's a great first 24 hours,
Yeah.
especially for your first release.
Yeah. First release, we did 35K first, just on Spotify, first day, like total. And I didn't have any expectations. Like I had none.
You got to go in with none. That way you're just.
I had no idea, dude. I just was like, all right, whatever. We'll see what happens. And then I was like, oh, 35K. That's awesome. If you ask me,
oh yeah,
I'm super grateful for that.
Extremely solid. I want to throw in some classic Grooverelly interview questions too. Like, what would be your first crime on purge night?
I'd be the dude fucking hiding, bruh. I would be, dude, boarded up windows, fucking just chilling with my girl, playing Rocket League. I wouldn't be doing no crimes. Fuck
just
that.
Got a shotgun in case someone breaks in.
Just that, just a little something. You know what's so weird? We actually talked about this because I live with my two best friends and my girlfriend, and just the other day we were talking about purge, and we were just like talking about what we would do, and we would just take shifts. Like one person would just be holding the blammer, sitting by the door, and that's it. And then we would just have, every few hours we switch off, stay up all night. That's it.
Strategy. So there you go.
Got to work together.
Oh, so the name Launch Sequence is, do you want to talk about the meaning behind that? Is it referencing like the launching of your DJ Khaled type, I don't know what you call that, executive producer career?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a little bit about me as it is about these other artists. I just really like the name. First of all, I think it sounds cool. And then yeah, it's symbolic of just like the beginning of the blow up, the beginning of the launch, the beginning of the careers of myself in the music industry, and then all of these artists. So I know like the whole space theme is kind of like overdone, and I was a little disappointed. I was like, man, I wish I could come up with something different, because a lot of people go with the space theme, um but I felt like it was really fitting, and I really like the name, and I had a vision for the cover art. So like I like it.
I
I'm
think
happy
the
with it.
space theme is heavily used, but nowadays when people are doing it, it's like, this universe or this world or this or that. Like I think the launch sequence, made me think of like the rocket taking
Yeah.
off. I thought it
Yeah.
was really did well, to signify what
Yeah,
you're
a lot of
trying
people were
to.
like, "Oh, is this Among Us inspired artwork?" And I didn't even think about that. And I don't even know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it wasn't. But I don't know, unless if that's a good thing, then sure it was.
Because people know about it, so
Yeah.
can't be bad. Now, yeah, so I mean, I guess that kind of answers this next question too. I was gonna ask, is there a follow-up project in the works in mind already, or that's probably pretty far out, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there's no guarantees that I'll do another one. I mean, it's like this is we'll see how this all goes. I mean, first day is cool, but I don't know much about releasing music. And like one thing I know about YouTube is like you could release a video and the first day it could do 35,000 views, and then it could get 5,000 views the next 6 months.
Right.
Like it could just there's the first day is always the biggest. And I kind of have a good understanding of my fan base, but you never know. People might just like to have listened to it one time and that's it. And it's like, that's fine. But music is a little different than YouTube, but I don't know. I really don't know. I imagine that people would want another one,
I'd
but
imagine that.
I'm not sure. Like we'll see.
Play it by
We'll
ear.
see. We'll see. I think that I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to grow this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to rush anything, because like again, music is a little different with YouTube, where like building hype is important. So
Mm-hmm.
like if I just do another one in 3 months, then people will just be like, oh shit, well, he's just doing this so often, I can skip over one and it won't matter.
Right.
So
Gives it more depth when it's not. Yeah, like
it
YouTube, I
makes
know
it
what
mean
you're saying. You
something.
got to release it more often, but
Yes.
this kind of thing has got to be more spanned out. Give the people a lot of time to digest it and just keep it pushing on them. I think that's the way to do it.
For sure. So like maybe if it was like really rocking and really making some money and really people were like interested in it, then maybe you could do one a year, maybe even squeeze in another one. But the other thing that I want to do is like, if there was a next one, I would want to be like in the studio, ideally like with these artists, and trying to really go even deeper into the executive production. Like, nah, try this, try that, because fucking like doing it over a phone is so much harder.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Being in the studio would allow you to just give so much more like creative input, and like it's a whole different vibe.
And bringing artists together so they could really have that chemistry,
rather than just sending it across, which we kind of have to do now with COVID and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's unfortunate. But hey, next project, people might be
Maybe.
looking out for something that's created live in the studio.
Maybe, hopefully.
Who did the artwork?
An artist by the name of Greg. It's just Greg. That's what he goes by. And it's funny, he hit me up and he was like, yo, bro, like, I see you're doing the album. Like, do you need artwork? I already got some ideas. And I was like, yeah, And he started drawing this whole sketch and all this shit. And he was like working on it. He was like, what do you think? And we were kind of going back and forth. And then like fucking 2 weeks later, he's like, oh, by the way, like, this is what I charge. And it was like kind of a lot of money. And I was like, oh shit, bro, you probably should have told me that like before.
But he had already done the artwork and you were like,
well, he didn't finish it, but he told me, he was like, this is what I charge. It's going to take me like fucking a month or so to do it. And
Now
I
that
was
you already
like,
got him started.
yeah, well, I mean, one, I kind of felt bad because he already started, but I didn't really feel that bad because like it was his choice to like reach out to me and sort of do it. But it doesn't matter. We agreed on the price. Like I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like I know you're gonna do a good job, so like
Right.
it's no big deal. And then he did like the back cover and he helped me out with like a lot of little things. So, and it's important to pay the cover art people or really any artist. Like it's you know they deserve bread too. Like a lot of people fuck over like cover art people. It's kind of a shame. So, but he got hooked up for sure. I fucking paid him good money.
It's something that definitely needs more focus. I'm glad you said that. Pay your fucking cover art designers. Stop
Yeah.
trying to, yeah, stop trying to get over on them. Everybody, producers, artists, everybody deserves to get paid. Everybody needs their splits and to be compensated for their work.
Yeah, for sure. And then like if you like don't if you want to know the price before you do the art or whatever, like go on Fiverr. That's the best way. Like they have a set price and they'll do your shit. So like
Yeah. Anything coming next? Are we gonna see any music videos off it?
man, we had a music video plan, but like COVID is obviously ruining everything. But I'm really that's my biggest excuse. I mean, to be honest, because I want to do music videos. I want to do as many as possible, but everybody's got different situations. You know, some people are they're all over the world really, but mostly in America, mostly American artists and Canadian artists, but everybody's all over the place, you know, different restrictions, travel restrictions. Some people live with their families, some people are in school, like, you know, there's so many different like situations, really hard to like coordinate, and on top of that would cost quite a bit of money,
Yeah.
which is like not even like something I really thought about, you know what I mean? Because the coordination alone would be so difficult. But assuming that you did, now it's like, okay, now we need a budget for this shit.
For each video too. And
Exactly.
yeah.
So I don't know. I really want to, I'll say that. And I'm going to try, but there's just no guarantees.
What would be, if you're talking directly to your fans, a lot of who are artists, what would be your just best advice to them? You know, if you had to give your best one line of advice to them, you know, what do they need to hear?
Shit. So many things.
It's hard to pick one.
One, it's
One
like
of
the
the
most
most
vague
crucial.
shit that's crucial. I think like, you know, a lot of people say super vague stuff like believe in yourself and whatever. Like that stuff's important, but I think the biggest thing for me that has allowed me to be successful is understand your strengths and go with them. Like know what you're good at or do your best to figure out what you're good at, whether it's music or whatever, or what aspect of music, and like double down on it and go hard on what you're already good at. Because like a lot of people will say, you know, Patrick, why don't you make music? Or you talk about it all the time. You should do this, you should do that, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I know what I'm good at. That's why like you even know who I am. Like why any of you know who I am, because I did the thing that I was good at. So that's all I try to do. Now, I love to experiment with things that, you know, I might not be good at or try whatever. It's important to try different shit as well, but if you want to like have the best results the fastest, you got to stick with what you're good at and run with it.
Absolutely. Some great advice. Yeah, I mean, is there anything specific that you want to talk about the project that we might not have mentioned?
No, I think the only thing additionally that I could say about the project is just that I really think there is a song for everyone, and it's definitely worth listening to at least one time. And a lot of people, I've seen people like, oh, I'm not going to take it seriously. He's a YouTuber. why would I listen to this? It's not your album. Like a lot of stuff. And it's like all that stuff is fair. Like you can make a fair point or whatever. But ultimately, like, I think there's a song on there for everybody. And that was kind of the point, as one body of work, as one like cohesive project, you can make an argument that it's not like, it doesn't really have like a focus, or thematically, it's not like this cohesive body of work, but like individually, track by track, I think it's really solid. And at least running through it one time, I know you'll find at least one song that you like for sure.
It deserves a listen from everybody, honestly. I mean, like you said, it's a great body of work. It's a good catalog. Every song, it's a hit. There's not like, how you said when it's one artist's body of work, and they might have songs that are kind of slower, and and just make it like cohesive, like feeling through it. But like since it's so many different artists, it's just kind of like hit after hit, So
well, maybe a hit, but at least it's a new experience. I'll say that. Maybe some people, you could say hit, whatever you want to say, but at least it's a new experience. So I also try not to get people's expectations too high, because a lot of people, oh, you're going to love this. You're going to whatever, like everybody says stuff like that. And it's great. The passion is great, but I'm not even saying that. Every song is a new experience, and it's worth listening to. And that's it.
Worth your attention. There you go.
At least once.
Yeah. Okay. If you were stuck on an island and you only had 3 things, what would you bring?
Shit, water. I mean, how specific?
Answer it how you will. Within
Water,
bounds
some
of your
sort
mind.
of water. I feel like a tool, like some sort of tool that would be useful to me. I don't know what tool though, because you could low key make a tool if you're a savage. But I feel like having like a knife, like a nice knife,
Big,
like a strong,
knife.
big, knife would really be useful for obviously various things. So clean water, drinking water, I don't know, and as much as I'm allowed to have. A knife, and that's it. Honestly, I would bail out on the third on the third thing, because I feel like you only need those 2 things. If you're stranded on an island, like what? I mean, maybe like a ball, or just something to like occupy like my brain or something. Like
something to keep you from going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like, could you like an iPod, maybe get some music in there, but then it's like, you need a charger, you need electricity. People just start making up rules when you do shit like this. So it's confusing.
You'd have 1 round with the iPod if you brought it. You could get 1 battery life.
Yeah, 1 battery. I don't know, man. That's not enough. You might be wasting it.
Be dead the first day. Oh shit. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking about the project and everything. I think that was awesome.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess 2 things. Drink water, obviously. That's the first thing. And check out Launch Sequence. It might be worth your time.
My love's like a black hole sun, so bright when it burns, so dark when it's done. So hard to relate to one when I find myself tripping off that blunt. Tripping off this blunt, so I might be blunt if I do confront you. Don't run, no, don't run from the black hole sun.